Hey man, what it is, what it ain't, it's the voices of the O. You already know we back for another episode of the From the Jump podcast. I'm your host, DJ, with a few of my co-hosts, the bro hosts, but you know how it go though. So today, you already know we got Big Tone in the building. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And then we have the man behind the camera, but now he's here in full screen. You know what it is. Alex Taylor in the building.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Now you want to
Ain't
talk
no way.
soft.
Ain't no need pillow talk this now.
And man, that's
You never feel
crazy.
talk to my wife.
Oh, okay. So man, as y'all know, man, it's another week of some great sports, some good college games, some not so good college games that we would have hoped for to go a different way, and then we had some NFL games. So, as usual, we're gonna get into some of these stats, some of these things going on. And at first, I would like to start with OU versus Cincinnati. Obviously, we're all here from the Oklahoma, man, and we had our Oklahoma Sooners ranked 16th in the country playing Cincinnati. I believe their first Big 12 matchup of the season so far with the
Mm-hmm.
score of 20-6. In that game, Dylan Gabriel had completed 26 passes with 38 attempts for a total of 322 yards, an average of 8.5 yards a completion, one touchdown, no picks, and a QBR of 70.3. Whew. Dylan Gabriel also managed for 11 carries, 23 yards, and a rushing touchdown, helping put the Sooners up. Where Cincinnati, on the other end, their quarterback Emory Jones had 22 completions on 41 attempts, 235 yards total, an average of 5.7 yards a completion, and two interceptions. Not much going on there. Their only scores happen to be on two field goals. So, Big Tone, you already know how this goes, man. What is your opinion on the Sooners so far this year and their first matchup against a division opponent?
I feel like Cincinnati was the first decent opponent that they faced, or was supposed to be. Anyway, you know what I mean. Their defense is looking pretty legit for the most part. They got a lot of and the thing is, a lot of guys been hurt for the defense, and they still happen to manage to keep guys in single digits or low doubles. So I think the defense has saved them a lot. I think it's kind of a Brett Venables type of SEC vibe that he's brought to the program. And everybody talked about, oh, his defense, his defense. Well, now it's starting to actually look like what everybody thought it was supposed to be. Like they're not missing tackles like they used to. It's not many busted coverage situations. They're not just running the ball on them like normal now. I will say this: that offense, bro. And I don't know if it's Dylan Gabriel's fault. I don't know if he ain't got the pieces, bro. I don't know what it is, but he's sorry. Yeah, he's not very good. I don't care what his stats say. It's just not. And in my opinion, the OU fashion quarterback just isn't him. That's just not what it is. And I think the offensive line isn't great. The running backs, you got six running backs. None of them are just separating each other from one another. They're all basically the same, in my opinion. But I think the receivers are starting to kind of make who's the best. And Nick Anderson obviously doing his thing, Anthony Jr. doing his thing, and then you got the little twin brothers, Gavin and Stoops. So I think the wide receiver core is actually come and be. But if you ain't got a quarterback to give him the ball, you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be very beneficial, especially going into next week. I think their opponent this week, they'll take care of them. I just think their biggest, toughest games coming up next week. But I think they're in the right spot for themselves. A lot of people predict 11-1 for this year, but who knows? They could go undefeated because their schedule is trash. I remember I was talking to Alex about it. We was talking about it one day. I said their schedule's cake. And he looked at it like, you wasn't lying. I'm like, yeah, that's a fact. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of the offense at the moment. I just don't think they've been tested into a point where Dylan Gabriel can really show us he's a Big 12 caliber quarterback. So we'll see what happens.
You told me the other day you bought a Dylan Gabriel jersey.
Uh huh. Yep. Yeah, I did. Threw it in the
You
trash.
didn't tell me one was on the way.
I cleaned the dog's room with it. Ain't no way. Well, I don't even know what number he is. What number is he? 8?
I don't know.
What number is
Only
he,
God
DJ?
knows.
I have.
I
When I
can
say I
double
have
check
zero
really
idea,
quick.
I have zero idea.
I
Let's
mean,
see.
look, he's not terrible, but you got
Number 8.
all the quarterbacks in the last 6 years compared to him, he basically, you see what I'm saying,
So what you got?
below
Kyler
average, if we're
Murray,
being honest.
Jalen
He,
Hurts, Baker Mayfield
he's Jalen Milrow.
in the last 6-7 years. Is that right?
So you got
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. Was it Landry Jones before him?
I believe so. Somewhere
And
around
then
there.
Sam Bradford. So, I mean, that's a long time. And if
Yeah,
you say him compared to any of them, especially from the OU standpoint, he not even in the same realm.
So
no,
is he a bad quarterback or is he just a bad OU quarterback? Like the
He's
OU
a he,
quarterback
he's a bad
standard.
quarterback. If he was at UCF, he'd be fine still.
Cause he
Right?
played
If
at
he was over
UCO.
there, it's just he not a Big 12 guy.
he could play at
Uh,
UCO.
he could play at Langston.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what
Dumb,
All
dumb
American at
numbers.
Langston, All
Yeah,
American,
hundred
best player,
percent.
player of the year type joint. Well, maybe not at
I'm
Langston
For
because
joking.
sure.
you got to run,
What I'm saying is that the standard for OU, their quarterbacks have been obviously high caliber in the last
man.
like you said,
Like the
6, 7,
backup,
8
and
years.
if they sign the 2025, that's more like it. You know, like if Jack is his name Jackson Arnold, that's his name.
Yeah,
If
Uh-huh.
he
yeah,
Yeah, I
pans
heard about
out,
that.
that's gonna be he can scramble, he can throw the long ball. Like it all work itself out.
Yeah, I think I've been hearing a lot of criticism as Dylan Gabriel has an issue throwing the long ball,
Hmm.
accurately at least. He overthrows people a lot.
Yeah,
So
mm,
I seen one particular deep ball. It was somebody wide open, and he
Nick
just
Anderson,
overthrew it.
I think he overthrew him.
Yeah, and they just saying, commentaries are like that's just been normal with Dylan Gabriel. His big criticism and biggest critique is that he overthrows people. Um, I don't, I'm just now watching college football last few years, but when I do watch him, I don't get the OU quarterback esque from him. Like his
Mhm.
name don't carry weight to me,
Yeah, you're
if
not
that makes
thinking he
sense.
about to go down here and get busy on this next 2 minute drive
No,
type thing. You know what I mean?
used to be. Am I tripping? But if Kyler Murray had the ball, it was a problem. Like people was
Yeah,
scared he had the
no
ball because
doubt.
he could run too. Baker Mayfield sort of the same, but Kyler Murray had those feet too, where it's like he got the ball scrambling, like y'all still in
Yeah.
trouble. But I ain't really heard nothing about Dylan Gabriel, but also they ain't really played real competition. So I thought they was gonna run the score up on Cincinnati. That's what I was expecting.
That's
So
what it looked like it was supposed to happen.
I feel like OU fans should be a little concerned. I mean, I wouldn't be, their schedule's so damn weak. They ain't got to worry about a lot. But
yeah,
um,
for sure. They playing a
I am
bunch of
worried.
JUCOs. Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying. I was concerned. I'm worried that I ain't worried because I'm not really an OU fan, but I'm like, is this going to be a case where teams have had a weak schedule and then they get to national championship and then they get slaughtered
Exactly.
by who knows how much, and we all sitting here like, damn, DJ, my bad. I'm over here thinking Alabama ass now. My bad. My bad. We can move on. We can move on. I
Yeah,
just
we'll
had to
get
come
to it.
back.
We'll get to
I
it.
was
We'll get to
looking at this.
Alabama
I'm
and
like,
me.
I'm thinking about, huh? Oh, yeah. Anyway, keep going. My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, hey, I can't refute the facts at the moment right now. This is definitely not the standard of quarterback that Alabama's used to. So Dylan Gabriel honestly could probably go to Alabama and start today. So
Where they find that quarterback at? He built like a like a slave. Like I was watching him play. Like where they find this nigga? He look like he's supposed to be fixing cars or something, or
Hey
spitting
yo.
cotton. I hate
they've
to say that.
they've
I'm not.
they
I'm just
they just
saying, bro.
found a big athlete, bro. Like the thing I don't understand when it comes to Alabama, and I know we're jumping around real quick, but I'll just touch on this
Yeah, that's
briefly.
my bad.
Pause.
That's my bad.
You're fine. You're fine. My thing is, you already saw what the Jalen Hurts experiment looked like. Yes, he was able to get you to a national championship, but it didn't work for the system that Alabama ran. So why you would
Hmm.
go to an even less talented Jalen? Like he's not Jalen Hurts. He's Milrow, and Milrow is not it. So I don't know why they didn't just go find them a nice little pocket quarterback. I mean,
That's it.
look at the that. I mean, look at Tua. Get us receivers. Get us a quarterback that can throw the ball accurately, even if they're 5 yard slants, and we're successful. We go natties like that. We've never just had a Deshaun Watson, a Trevor Lawrence, a Joe
Never.
Burrow. Never.
Never.
Bryce Young was literally the first Heisman quarterback ever to come out of Alabama. So
Hmm.
it's like we've
The
never just
quarterback
had.
there, how tall is like how he looks ginormous like on
Six
TV.
five?
Like
Is he 6'5"?
I don't know. The
he don't look
boys
like a
big.
quarterback to me. Like he looked
No,
like
he
he's
looks like
supposed
a
to be
running
running
back.
a route. Yeah, or run.
Yeah.
I was like he's wide receiver or something. He tight end. He looked like big. Pause.
No, he
But
is.
But all
He
I
is
gotta
like
say is,
Jalen Hurts.
yeah. So how you feel you did, DJ?
In my opinion, I mean it's okay. It's Cincinnati. I mean, it's kind of I still have the same view on Cincinnati as I did when they kind of went to the college football playoff. It's Cincinnati, bro. I mean, granted, they had Desmond Ritter, who currently has the job as a starting NFL quarterback with the Atlanta Falcons, and then obviously you have Big Sauce uh, for the New York Jets, and is arguably the best corner in the NFL today.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose two pieces like that. Cincinnati's not known for reloading at that clip. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to compare it to Colorado because you have Dion star power, but it's just like without Dion, Colorado would still be Colorado. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like since Desmond Ritter and Sauce Gardner got drafted, Cincinnati's going to go back to being what Cincinnati was. Some of these schools have these players here and there that can make them compete, like the Tyreek Hills at Oklahoma State. You know, Georgia has defense now, but before that it was, what was it, Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb and Sonny Michelle. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you got players that can keep you into contention, but Cincinnati's not there this year. And I think OU, it was their first real competitive match as far as a team that, in my opinion, can actually recruit a little bit better than some of the other schools that they've had to face so far. So, I
Yeah.
mean, nothing special. I mean, the quarterback threw for 300 yards. That's cool. But I need to see you do that against Texas when y'all play them. I need you to see that, I
Shoot,
mean, I'm
I was
sure
telling people this week they might lose to Kansas.
they might, and that's the
They
thing.
might.
Like
Kansas been
you've
balling.
been like, bro, you playing Tulsa. Like those are the teams that you've competed against so far, and I'm glad they're ranked where they are. This, like we said last year or the years before, like, Oklahoma is a lot better when OU's winning games.
Mm.
The Oklahomans get a lot more annoying, but the energy in the state is a lot better. But I mean, once you really gets against a solid defense, against a school that can recruit, against an offense that can kind of match theirs, it'll be a completely different story, in my opinion.
These
Yeah.
OU fans, well, I don't know. There's something in the energy. It just feels different. I'm like, no,
Mm,
Man, Hodges
no.
it
said this
don't
the
feel good.
worst OU offense since 1990 something.
I'm just,
And
it's
so I
blowing my
got to
mind.
asking people, I'm like, let's keep it a stack. Who was this bad? If you talk about the
Man,
caliber of players, I mean, Adrian
yeah.
Peterson was what, 2008,
Shit. Well, I don't know. I was in like
maybe?
the sixth grade, maybe.
And
I don't
before
no
him, I think
idea.
Quentin Griffin was in 2002, maybe before that. And ain't none of these
Yeah.
running backs messing with them.
No.
I'm just
They.
like, I don't know what it is, but I just, when I watch them play, obviously, like they beat the hell out of Tulsa, which I'm like, they got to do some shit about that. Like that in state, like, why we got to do that to the other team? Like, that's not necessary. I feel like them
That's all the
just
money
forfeit them
grab.
fucking games. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh, for
like,
sure.
what are we doing there? Like, Tulsa Stadium don't look like OU Stadium. I mean, it's just nothing there to do. A bunch of
Yeah.
OU fans there just watching. It just, I'm not gonna be racist again. Just it don't look, the optics of it look weird to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just say
They
that
ain't got
much.
to get.
And I don't care what
No.
you say. That Arkansas State team might have been the worst college team I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, bro. It's. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, when you play easy opponents, it's kind of, Tony knowing as a coach, when you play some of those smaller division schools and like summer league and stuff, you can
Mm-hmm.
think you're better than what you are because you're blowing people out by 30 and 40. But then when you have to go play, the top tier in
Mm-hmm.
your division, your conference, it's kind of like, and to be honest, if I was to put it nicely, it was like my days of being at Moore High School, and you going in football, and you going and scrimmaging some no name team and beating them by 40 in football, and then you come back and then you got to play like Jinx week 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like
Facts.
there's levels to it at all times.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the little brother of the state, Oklahoma State. I don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know what's going on there. I hate it here, quite honestly. I
I
being
have to ask. Sorry,
Go
I'm
ahead.
just trying to, because it kind of is the last topic mixed with this one. I
Hmm.
wanted to ask before you start talking. Um, so is OSU just that bad, or is their schedule stronger? Like, how does this
Alex.
work? When you look at
Horrible.
OSU and OU, that's what I'm asking y'all.
Yeah.
Is OSU
Hmm.
schedule strong and they just don't have that great of a team, or is it like, like if you switch schedules, if you give OU schedule, are we seeing any difference? If I'm asking.
No,
Okay, okay.
no.
You can
I
continue.
mean,
That's all I was just
no,
asking.
you're good. My thing is, right, you're playing, you've beaten who? Who have you beaten? It was one. I think what they're one and no, they're 2-2. So okay, you beat Arizona State, whatever, cool. You beat Arkansas State. You lose to South Alabama last week.
Which I heard the take on that
South,
was they had their whole team retire. Return. Sorry, they had their whole team return.
mm, maybe, but still, you're Oklahoma State. There's no reason that you have being a major D1 that if all those kids at South Alabama had the opportunity to transfer to Oklahoma State, they would have. And to
You got
get
cousins that
Yeah,
play
blasted,
at South
facts.
Alabama.
huh?
You got cousins that play for South Alabama.
I mean, probably. I don't know. I don't know none of them. I don't know none of them.
I'm saying it's South,
Hey, have
like
you
South Alabama. I didn't even know that was a fucking school.
exactly? I would have thought that was a Division 3, but I guess it's D1, and of course Oklahoma State loses that. Then we turn around and lose to Iowa State, which makes no sense because we put up 7 against South Alabama. Then we put up 27 against Iowa State. We lose by 7, which to me, gauging how the season's going so far is a good thing. We just lost to South Alabama by 25, 26 points. And then you turn around and lose by 7. Oh, Iowa State. Fine. At this point in the season, fine. I can't refute. I just know that Gundy needs to get the hell out of there. I don't know nothing about that lifetime contract, but Buddy Life about to get cut short in Stilly. They're
You
not
think
finna
so?
keep having that. For sure.
Oh,
They
they
gotta
on
do
bye week
something.
this week, huh?
Hmm.
They need that.
Yeah, they got to do something. It just doesn't make sense as to why that they're so bad. And I mean, it does when it comes to NIL money, and that I somewhat understand. But you're still Oklahoma State losing to a South Alabama. It makes no sense. But I'll let you guys go, Tony. I know you're the other somewhat Oklahoma State fan.
No,
Have at
I
it,
just
bro.
been watching, bro, and it's just. I mean, you know, there's always the little brother of OU, but this is
Hmm.
like you seen the Twitter rankings they've been messing around. We talked about last week. They said OU, ORU, Bigsby, Oklahoma State. Like
Fact.
that's really how that's really how they feeling, and I understand it looks like bad football. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Being 2-2, you play Central Arkansas, pitiful. You know what I mean? No disrespect to them. And
Right.
then you beat Iowa State or who'd they beat? Arizona State, which however looks like a good win now because USC struggling with them.
Right.
But outside of that, I mean, you lost 2 in a row. Doesn't look like there's any hope anytime soon. And Gundy, man, he's been thugging it out for long enough, saying what he want, doing what he want. But bro, it might just be his time, bro. It's really what it might be. Because the
For
NIL,
sure.
I mean, basketball ain't got no issues recruiting people. They,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? They be relevant, got good players, all that. I mean, and then you've seen all these other rosters in college football right now where, transfer from Oklahoma State. Oh, transfer from Oklahoma State. All these guys starting on other teams. You're like,
Hmm.
well, something must not be right in Stillwater if that's the case.
Fact. Fact. I can't argue with that. Alex, what about you, bro?
Uh, this is more of a question because I'm always asking questions because I don't know much.
Come with it.
Do you guys feel like it's because Oklahoma's such a small market that's harder to get NIL money over there in Stillwater? Since OU is the top dog, there's not a lot of wiggle room for money.
Tony, I'll let you go first.
I think the school's smaller. There's less money from alumni. You know, less businesses to be able to go to for NIL money. So I think that is a realistic reason that they could be struggling in recruiting right now. That makes a lot of sense. But the Big 12 is going to be it's going to be more reasonable for them next year. When all the two good teams leave, they'll still be one of the top runners because the Big 12 will basically be bad at that point, non respectable at all for any team. So, but I think that does hurt them to being up in Stillwater. Definitely now with how NIL is.
But do Auburn and Alabama have that issue?
Alabama doesn't because it's Alabama. You know, there's somewhat of the standard at Alabama. The kids that sign there still have that vision of they get to natties or their games are nationally televised when they play ranked opponents every time. Regardless of what state they're in now, Alabama's going to always, as long as Nick Saban's there, they're always going to get recruits. And when you come from Alabama, the amount of players that have entered the league, there's so much more players that can give back to the school or sponsors because in Alabama that's all there is there. is Alabama football. Like us, you have OU football, you have the Thunder, whenever we're good, which this year might be it. Um, and then you have Oklahoma State, who's just kind of left over. Shit. Jinx and Union might get more NIL deals than Oklahoma State shit at this point.
Yeah,
So it's
facts.
just like
Yeah, I
Alabama's
feel
gonna
like I
always get
heard that
recruits.
was Nick Saban's. Nick Saban was obviously vocal about the NIL stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of people felt like that's why, because he wasn't going to be able to recruit as well. And I feel like that's kind of evident now. Maybe, I don't know, but from looking at the Alabama team and looking at how things are shaping out, which we don't know yet. I mean, obviously the
Mhm.
season kind of just started, but is because I always also kind of like, man, these teams are doing it behind the scenes anyways. Like it's not like they was just doing it illegally. But
Mhm.
I'm always just kind of like, I wonder where this is gonna go, and if in the future we're gonna look at like evenly, out. Everybody's gonna be evened out, and it's not gonna be an
Mhm.
Alabama on a run or Georgia for years. It's gonna be like some random ass team playing, like a Colorado, because they got money or something.
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew Colorado at some point with Tone. I think you're muted, but
Yeah, I am.
yeah, okay, you get
Dumbass, man. Like, you talking to me?
Colorado,
No, I was
Colorado,
talking to
and
my dog.
Man, shut up.
I be joking, but I mean, when I say this, I'm joking, but I'm like low key serious. Colorado got that weed money. Like they got enough money to pay whoever they need to pay. They was one of the first states to legalize that shit like that. They got weed money. USC is South California. Like who don't want to go to the beach with all the beautiful people in the world? You know what I'm saying? Georgia's nice. Florida. I'm surprised Florida still ain't up there. I'd love to go play at Florida or the University of
Mm-hmm.
Miami. But I think those places over time, it's going to be about location and the amount of money you can get because who don't want to be at USC or Miami or Florida, but I want to, actually I'm gonna go to OU. Like no, nobody want to do that shit.
Hmm.
Alabama ain't
That's
nice though.
Alabama cool. Tuscaloosa love it. Cool, you know what I'm saying?
It
But
ain't
it
pretty.
ain't
You
it
ain't got
ain't
no
it ain't
beaches. Or...
it ain't Miami. Shit,
Okay.
I don't even it don't have me shitting on my state, man. That's my peoples over there, man. But yeah, it's bad. It's just not the ideal location, and the only reason we will continue to get recruits is because of Nick Saban.
Mm.
Facts.
So
And when he's out
next,
of there, kill
it's
the
gonna be
program.
rough for a long, long time. I'm
I mean,
already
it's hard.
making,
Like, I'm not kidding. When I turn the Alabama game on, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude throwing the ball? I was just sitting
bruh,
there like, am I watching
Bro.
the longest yard? What's the fuck going on?
bruh. I told Aaron from the beginning of the season, if Jalen Milroe is the quarterback, I'm not watching the full. I have not watched a full Alabama game yet, like from start to finish. I have not. I cannot. I seen what he did when Bryce Young got hurt last year. But moving on to what is probably the biggest news in
Mhm.
college football so far, which would be Colorado versus Oregon this past weekend. You know, broke a lot of people's hearts. Obviously, the Cinderella story. We'd love for it to go, for them to go undefeated, but trying to pull that off as a first year in your first year of your program and rebuilding, restructuring, and having, I believe, 86 to 87 new faces on campus as far as the football team is going to be hard. Uh, and to be honest, before we get into the full stats, to all you people out there trying to make this a thing, a race thing, whatever that is, come on now. It's Deion Sanders. Just because he doesn't look or talk the way some of the coaches that you have at your program and the way he speaks, I don't know how to say it. He just speak like us. He talk like us. That's the way, that is a coach that a lot of those kids follow, and that's why they decided to follow him. That's why those 4 and 5 star recruits that were in the portal decided to transfer there. It was because of Dion, what he brings, and he's a good coach. Obviously, what he did at Jackson State, but now at Colorado, from a team who is, I believe, 1-11, now going to 3-1 so far, or 2-1, I forget. But yeah, get off the man's back. Great coach, just doing what he's doing. Give him a few years to get that program under his belt and see what'll happen. So, as we go to that game, whew, that was ugly. 42 to, I believe, 6. They missed the field goal. Tony
Brutal.
or Alex? Alex, I'll let you go first as
Nah, you
being
good.
the newest resident in the college football world and what you've seen of Dion as far as, we can't get away from him on social media and all the things going on for that game to kind of go down the way it did.
Nah, bro, this got to go to you. I got to ask you:
Come on.
did you believe in the hype? Because
Did
you
I
watch
believe
college
in that?
football, so I'm new to this. So I'm watching, like you
Hmm.
said, I'm from a social media aspect, watching Deion Sanders and supporting because it looked cool and fun, and you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying. You got The Rock there. You got who else they had there? Got them Wu
Lil
Tang was there,
Wayne.
Lil
Offset
Wayne. You know what I'm saying?
or
So
takeoff.
I'm from an outsider perspective. I'm watching them play out of entertainment. It's like watching the
Hmm.
Warriors when they
Yeah,
was hot. You know what I'm saying? You may not know basketball, but you're gonna watch just because the energy surrounding them and the talk.
for sure.
So
For
from
sure.
y'all perspective though, since y'all watch college football, did y'all like know like oh they finna get smacked?
Ooh, Tone, you or me first?
Nah, man, I looked at it like, what were you expecting from Colorado in general? Like when I had this conversation with everybody in the text, I'm like, what did you remember in the group? I said, what did you expect? Like you
Hmm.
want them to win just because of the story, but at the end of the day, Oregon is an established program.
Yep.
They got everything they need to get any recruit they want.
Speak on it.
And it ain't, I mean, Colorado is good at football, but like he said, Dion said, this is the worst we're gonna be. Because he only had 1 year to get his guys. The transfer portal. So now guys from other schools going to transfer on purpose just to go to Colorado. So then he can just, at that point, he, like he said, he ain't hard to find. Pick and choose what you want. So I'm like, okay, for them, a positive year for them is going above 500. If they can go, 8-4, you know, how many games they play, DJ?
They played Colorado State
No, how
and
many do they play in the
TCU.
season? 12 or
Oh,
16?
believe it's 12. I believe it's
Yeah, so
12.
if they go 8-4, great season for them. 1-11 to 8-4, one season, new coach, all new players. That's a positive season. But I didn't expect them to win these next two games at all. But to lose in that fashion, I mean that's an awakening to a lot of those players. Like they might have to pack their suitcases too.
Do you feel like it was racist?
Which part?
Yeah. Which part? How bad they beat them?
Oregon beating the shit out like that. Do you feel like
Nah,
you know
man,
what
it's
I'm saying?
I
competitive
feel,
sports, bro.
yeah,
Like,
it's
y'all ain't see that
competitive
meme
sports.
where y'all seen Django and the white man's like, not in front of my niggas you can't. What you talking about?
Okay,
Now,
no,
I'm just
But
hey,
no.
I'm making observations.
I feel
I
like,
mean obviously everybody black on the field, but I'm being funny.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
no, I get it. But I feel like a lot of people are trying to make it that, because
Mm-hmm.
Dion's not your traditional coach. They want you to, if you're going to look a certain way, you got to be buttoned up and do it this way because this is the way our coaches do it. And Dion's not like that. He's prime time. He's Coach Prime. Everybody calls him Coach Prime, and he ain't gonna stop being Coach Prime for nobody. You can't expect that man living the life he has, being productive as he has in every venture of life that he's decided to go into, whether it was football, whether it was baseball, whether it was coaching. He like Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp said he was talking on the Rich Eisen show and said, what did I tell you I was going to do whenever, when I got my degree? He said, I told you I was going to get my degree and I was going to ask Coach Prime for a spot on his staff. So now you have Hall of Fame players from the NFL coming to teach your defensive linemen how to play the game of football. And that's going to attract kids to your program. You know what I'm saying? That's just like if I don't know if Tony had to connect and he had LeBron to come coach a season with him at Mustang. You're gonna have a lot of kids all of a sudden buy a new house. They parents is finna buy a whole new house.
Fact.
We finna go win the state championship. Like that's what's gonna and you can hate it or love it. But at the end of the day, he has that kind of pool. So to give him a lot of these coaches have had years of recruiting these players from your freshman year all the way up through high school. Dion has had 6 months to go from hey, I'm coaching at Jackson State to hey, now I'm coaching at a major D1 in the Pac-12. Would you want to come play for me? Those high school kids, he hasn't really got to recruit like that because why? They were like, I'm not going to Jackson State. I want to go somewhere bigger, get more TV time to be able to show the NFL what I can do. But now you're at a major D1. So now I have a little bit more incentive to go ahead and go over there and ball out. And all eyes are going to be on Colorado for as long as Deion Sanders is at the university.
Is His name is Shadur Sanders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shadur
Yeah,
Sanders.
it's the quarterback. Yeah,
Fucked up ass name. Is he a fraud?
is he a
No,
fraud? In what
Mm-hmm.
sense?
no.
I'm
He
saying
is
in
a
the sense,
he is a high quality quarterback. Like if you even
Absolutely.
look at his stats, he had a run for his life, 80% of the possessions, and still had a decent passing day.
Hmm.
And a lot
okay.
of his games, even when we watched him in the last few, a lot of his incompletions are drop passes. It ain't
So
even
it's
like
about
bad
receiving.
throws or nothing like that.
Okay. Okay.
He really gets down like for real.
But you told me Dylan Gabriel was better than him the other day on God
Nobody
Given.
ever said that in the history of the world. Nobody in the history of the world. If OU look, if OU had Sanders right now, they'd be winning games by 40 plus.
For sure.
He'd be going for
For sure.
500 yards easy
Okay.
because he can just make plays better than Gabriel can.
I just had to ask that because, if you if outside perspective, if you look at the score and it's 42-6, then
Hmm.
I mean, yes, obviously defense plays a part, but then you think, well, why the hell? But that makes
Right.
sense. That makes sense because
No,
Travis
and
Hunter's out, and yeah, okay, makes sense.
yeah, and but their offensive line is kind of a makeshift line. I think
Mm-hmm.
whoever their offensive line coach is, not a bad coach, but you got to understand getting dudes that are 6'9", 6'8", 6'10", ginormous, massive human beings who could, if they were able to get their hands on them, could manhandle them. But you got to account for the speed on the edge. As far as you have people like Michael Parsons who aren't the tallest, who aren't the biggest guys in the world, but their speed and their physical, ability allows them to rush off the edge a lot better than having somebody that's 330, 350 pounds at 6'8" when they're trying to bend the edge and get to the
Yeah,
quarterback is just not
yeah. Because I
not
heard they had one of
logical.
the smallest lines in college football
Man,
from a size
man,
and height standpoint.
right.
DJ, you was just
What happened?
wilding. I
Bro,
mean,
I'm using
but you
football
just kept
terminology,
going. I
bro.
know, bro, but you just kept
Football
going, talking about
terminology.
the
I
edge,
had
and
to
you
go.
doing. I'm like,
The
damn.
Edge, yes.
I
That's
get it
rusty.
Michael
in fact,
Parsons literally has a a podcast called The Edge with Michael Parsons.
bro. I get it, bro. I'm just immature, but it's just you just kept going. I'm like, damn.
It's
It was
love.
back to back, left to
Yeah,
right.
facts.
It's love, bro.
Hey, I did
So
want to
should
say though.
go ahead.
Sorry, um, I meant to say a joke. I seen someone on Twitter saying you got to get them big, you know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
Republican fishing boys on the line. And they'll help out.
No, that's a lot. That's a lot. You got to get them from the
That's a
south.
lie. You got to do
That's a
what?
lot. You got to get them from the south
That's what
with
they
an F.
saying. They say you got to get you one of them old deep Republican goddamn
No,
fish fishing motherfuckers on the line. That's what I seen.
I mean
But
you do need
it's
some
just
big country,
amazing
bro.
how big them
Hmm.
fucking dudes be, but they still get ran over. Like damn.
Nah, man, them defensive linemen, they coming at you because you got to think as an offensive lineman, you sitting in the stance where you on backpedal, and you got to stop guys coming full blast right off on you, strong pause, and
Hmm.
really can use their hands, push, swim. I mean, it's crazy.
You
Like
mean full
imagine,
For
what?
sure.
okay, me standing there, I'm in the center position, Michael
Uh huh.
Parsons standing across from me. I got to hike the ball, get my hands up before he get to me. Like you gotta be you gotta be ready to. And that's some offensive linemen. People don't realize once they hike them 2 steps, 3 steps back, they be chopping so they can get their hands on people.
Okay.
No, that's a fact.
Okay. I just, like I said, when you see some of these motherfuckers on this TV, they be like ginormous, and I'm like,
For
what the
Huge.
sure.
fuck are you doing? Like, what are you
Like
doing?
no disrespect to Bray. We know, Bray that was at
Walker,
sophomore.
yeah.
He was at
Hmm.
OU for 3 seasons, never touched the field but a couple times. And he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Great. We knew him. He was huge.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you can't move like you need to, understand the blocking schemes, block well. Now he's at Texas State starting doing good, but that's just an example. Like you could be 6'8", 6'9", the size, but you got to have the speed, the hands. It's a lot to go to it with them linemen.
For sure. Because coaches live by the term you can't coach size.
Okay.
You can't teach
Mm-mm.
size.
No
Don't be
sport.
So
born with it, huh?
wow. So you have these dudes often go these dudes often go after the taller kids, the naturally bigger kids, but you don't understand. Yes, they're more physically dominant than some of these other guys, but a lot when like Aaron Donald is considered undersized for a defensive tackle, but
Mm.
his strength and his ability to use technique and his size for being smaller and faster than the average has made him arguably the greatest defensive player of all time, alongside LT. So it's little things like that. It's not always about who's the tallest, who's the heaviest, who's the strongest. It's about technique, footwork, you know, you hands, all these different things. It makes up an offensive lineman. That's why offensive linemen don't get the respect that they're due. And that's why, I mean, like the left tackles in football get paid so much more than everybody else on the line because they're protecting the quarterback's blind spot, and they're usually the best or one of the best offensive linemen on the field, if not the.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
Shador Sanders against Oregon completed 23 passes with 33 attempts for 159 yards, an average of 4.8 yards of completion, one touchdown, and a quarterback rating of 28.2. Yeah. Oregon, on the other hand, Bo Nix, also another top candidate in the NFL draft for next season, had 28 completions for on 33 attempts, 276 yards passing, an average of 8.4 yards completion, three touchdowns, and one interception. Jordan James caught a touchdown. He had seven, or no, he ran a touchdown, had 7 carries for 54 yards. Noah Whittington had 8 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Bo Nix also had 5 carries for 9 yards in total with one touchdown. Uh, Troy Troy Franklin had 8 receptions, 126 yards, an average of 15.8 yards a reception, and two touchdowns. So yeah, I mean that pretty much summed it up. I mean, I don't even know what Colorado's defense. I know people are trying to say they didn't have. Uh, what's the name? I'm forgetting
Travis
it.
Hunter.
Travis Hunter. That's it. They didn't have Travis Hunter, but one player, especially at DB and receiver, cannot affect the game that much to swing it. You got to have other people on the field. He's an outstanding player. Don't get me wrong. He's great on both sides of the ball, but if it was a quarterback, I think it would be different. A quarterback going from Joe Burrow to the third string quarterback, or going from Patrick Mahomes to Chad Henne, that is a major change in how you scheme the game, how you play, all these different things. But in my opinion, as a corner and a receiver, you make an impact because obviously Kirk Cousins not having Justin Jefferson would put him at a deficit, but it's different. It's not as impactful in my opinion. Big Tone, what do you think about that?
I think you hit it on the head, bro. To be honest with you, it's just one of
Okay.
those things. Like, it's kind of hard to explain. I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's a fact. I mean, people just don't. I get it. He's a great player, and we've seen what he's done over the past 3 games or 2 games. Prior to him getting injured, but it's just like having somebody like Patrick Mahomes that can throw the ball 80 yards down the field versus a third string quarterback who can only do, maybe a 40. And that is kind of an aired out pass, and he can throw like little 5 and 10 yard dump offs. That's completely different than having a person the caliber of Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, or Patrick Mahomes. So I don't think
Hmm.
he could have affected the game as much, but it would have been nice to see him out there to see maybe if it could have made a difference. I just don't believe at this point in time it would have done too much to the game.
Nah, he only could do so much. All he's gonna do is go away from him and then
For
double
sure.
team him. They would have took him out the game.
For sure.
I mean, no
So
matter how
before we
great
get
he
out
is,
of
he would have got him. They would have ate him up. Pause.
for sure. For sure. So before we get out of college football, obviously the game of the week next week is going to be USC versus Oregon. Caleb Williams versus Shador Sanders. Another big primetime game.
It's
USC
USC
versus
versus
Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Who did I
You
say?
straight, you straight. You
Oregon.
say Oregon.
You get you said
Oh, I'm
Oregon.
tripping. My bad.
You
Apologize. USC versus Colorado. So, you guys, I'll start with you, Alex. A
Hmm.
prediction. What do you predict that the score will be? And when it says fourth quarter 0-0-0, what is your prediction?
Let's see what niggas. Let me see if I'm right. So this is the Pac-12, correct?
Yes, sir.
And niggas is usually ass on defense, correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. So I predict this shit gonna be just motherfucking. I'm gonna be surprised 34 or 40 or something crazy.
40 to what? What is who's
34.
gonna have
Like who
40 to
winning? Who
34?
winning? I would
Yeah.
think USC gonna win just
Okay.
because. same, I don't like to use the argument, but what Coach Prime said, we ain't all the way equipped with what we need
Right.
just yet. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like they're gonna just come out the gate firing and just run it up on USC. I think it'll be, maybe a little slow start. But that's another thing I wanted to say too. A lot of these players probably on Colorado haven't been in this big of a moment before.
Probably
I mean, I
not.
know they're at Jackson State, some of them were, but at the same time, there's a whole different atmosphere, bigger arenas, bigger crowds, a lot of lights. You know what I'm saying? You got goddamn ESPN at your games, Fox. I mean, this is prime time for real. So,
Mm-hmm.
playing USC is going to be overhyped game again. And I think after the ass whooping last week by Oregon, I don't think they're going to come out and get that ass whooped again. I would hope. So I feel like they're going to come out fighting, and I think it'll probably be a high scoring game with USC winning just because it's USC. But yeah, because am I tripping, or I feel like I've heard that Caleb Williams doesn't have a good offensive line,
Yeah, he be running a lot.
right? That's what
Yeah.
I thought I heard. Okay, so yeah, I think it'll probably be some back and forth high scoring game, no
No
defense.
doubt, because defense is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln Riley don't care about nothing about no defense at all.
Yeah,
So it's going to be one of those things where we really get to see both quarterbacks shine. Now USC is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not 70 to 20 type of joint, but we
Right.
know they're definitely going to win.
how much
Caleb
you
Williams,
think?
I was watching it last week. Like Caleb Williams, and no disrespect to Shadur, but Caleb Williams is by far the best quarterback in college football, by far.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
he really, really liked that. Shadur has,
Mm-hmm.
he shows glimpses and so on and so forth, but Caleb Williams is him, just period,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to college quarterbacks right now, in my opinion. So, but
For
both of
sure.
them, it's going to be nice to see both of them. And then Travis Hunter's trying to play, but Deion ain't going to let him. But even then, it's going to be nice to see them both get down.
For
I think
sure.
it'll be a fun game. I think it'll be a lot of flash, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
action, a lot of
For
plays
sure.
that highlights. But I really would rather Colorado win, of course, and I think all of Oklahoma would too, because the OU fans are always going to root against Lincoln Riley. But yeah,
Shit.
I want to see Colorado Colorado win. I would like to see them win, but I think USC gonna come over that mug.
Yeah, you and me both. I don't know who a lot of Oklahoma fans hate more right now, Lincoln Riley or Deion Sanders. I mean, I've met a mix of people. I have some people that like Deion, and then the other half is like, both of them. You know,
Really?
but oh yeah, for sure. They don't like Dion. They think it's all BS. Like he's got a couple good players because he's Deion Sanders, but he's not a real coach. He's a player masquerading as a coach who's able to get the best recruits because he is who he is. You
What's
know.
crazy though, if Deion Sanders was at Oklahoma, people would fucking cry out of joy. That
Thank
energy he
you.
got is the energy they would like out of a head coach. Like
Thank you.
that's 100% a fact. I mean, I know they like Brent Venables and Bob Stoops wasn't flashy. I mean, but
Hmm.
come on now, Deion Sanders at OU, all that energy,
Man,
got that shit talking and stuff. OU fans would eat that shit up. Come on now.
man, that would be like if Baker at the end of his NFL career decided to come back and be the head coach for the Oklahoma Sooners. Like they'd be
Exactly.
out there popping their shit.
And could
And
you
that's what I
imagine
don't
like
understand.
Deion Sanders and Baker Mayfield together? Like, come on now,
Man,
that'd be so much shit talking. It'd be horrible.
bruh.
So,
I can only
that's crazy though
imagine.
that you said that though. I
I'm
could
just
relate to
saying, yeah, it's just it is what it is. OU fans, in my opinion, there's something. No disrespect, Tony, in this aspect, but are like Dallas Cowboy fans, and not Tony. Tony is on the more realistic side of things, so I give him
Yeah,
credit.
I
that.
But
agree.
Exact.
yeah, but OU fans think every year is their year, and it's not going to work that way, and it hasn't worked that way even when they had two Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. No offense, but
Because I didn't watch. We moving on to the NFL anyways, but I'm just bro,
yeah.
I ain't even tuned into the game. And once I tune in, I see a nigga drop back, threw it right to that nigga. That nigga's horrible. And then they showed a wide like drone view. They got that big ass camera that can see over. They said, "Who is he throwing it to? Like what? Like you
I have
see the
no
man for
idea.
the crossover, but why he throw it right? Like he threw it right at him. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is horrible. And then they didn't have Kyler Murray. I mean, what?
Hmm.
I don't know what the hell going on. That
All
shit
right,
funny as
all right.
hell.
Joshua Dobbs, man. Joshua
Go ahead,
Dobbs.
go ahead, go
That
there, then
nigga Dak
DJ. Go there.
Prescott
Let's
is
go
ass,
there.
huh, Tony?
Let's get
Tony
that one
Romo or
out the
Dak
way.
Prescott? Tony Romo or Dak Prescott? Come
Tony
on, Tony,
Romo
talk to
all
me.
day, every day of the week. What? At this
Dylan
moment, Trey
Gabriel.
Lance, we might as well give him a shot. That's how I feel.
Dylan Gabriel
Man.
or Dak Prescott?
That's a toss up for real.
There's no way.
I swear, bro. That's how I really feel about Dak. You ain't heard me say nothing good about Dak ever. Am I lying, DJ?
Nah, that is a fact. That
I,
is a
I've
fact.
I've not have not been a fan of Dak since he got drafted. Period. He
He
not
cold though.
one thing about Dallas that I'm starting to realize is the one thing Jerry Jones will not pay the right person for is quarterback. He won't draft a good one. He won't pay a good one. He it's just not who he is. Period. I mean, and I, honestly, if it wasn't for Dan Quinn, our defense wouldn't. But our wide
Speak on it.
receivers is cheeks. Oh my goodness, they cheeks. Brandon Cooks trash. Gallup, he played good yesterday. He trash. CD good. Ferguson playing better. Then you got Tarpon out there. He all right, I guess. I'm just talking about Alex. I'm watching the game getting mad. Like, first off, who Dak's supposed to throw the ball to? Let's keep it a stack. You ain't got no Amari Coopers out there. You ain't got no big
Nope.
receivers out there. He throwing all these slants, check downs. Now, our running backs go crazy. Doddle's good.
It's true.
TP's going crazy. Deuce, I don't know where he was at, but he's doing well.
They
And
replaced Ezekiel Elliott like he wasn't shit.
because he
He
wasn't.
wasn't.
Jerry Jones paid him all that money for what?
I just
Now he a
like, come on.
backup for the Patriots. How you got
I
that
ain't
much
heard
money? You a
shit
backup,
about him. I ain't heard shit
Man.
about him since he left.
bruh.
I
Hey,
don't even pay attention that much, but still, I ain't heard shit about Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke Elliott had his best game as a Patriot. Like what this past game against the Jets, and it wasn't nothing. Just mind-boggling. It was extremely average.
He's still
Uh,
wearing crop tops.
I
Yes,
don't know. I
bro.
don't
Something is
know.
wrong. Something wrong, bro.
I don't know. I know Bill Belichick made him cut his hair. He wasn't digging that shit.
He made him cut his hair.
Nah, but he
I
did. He
mean,
cut when he went
basically.
to New England.
Oh,
He cut his hair. Yeah,
okay.
Zeke had
Yeah.
16 carries for 80 yards last
You know
game.
they hella racist in Boston. They ain't playing
Oh,
that,
okay. All right.
right? That's
Jesus.
new. Okay.
That's
I
a
couldn't
fact.
remember. Where
I'm not sure.
But listen,
Yeah,
let's talk
something like
about
that.
Dallas. And I don't give Dallas no
Dallas.
excuses, period. I don't give no
Let's go
excuses.
back to Dallas.
All right.
Nigga, they
So the
Our
suck.
Dallas
offensive
Cowboys.
line was hurt.
Go ahead.
Our offensive line was hurt. So that's not an
Sure.
excuse because we're playing the Cardinals. Majority of our offensive line is hurt. Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Tyron Smith?
Mm-hmm.
The man been hurt every season for the last 5 seasons. He's 6'8" and soft as Charmin. Zach Martin been getting hurt on and off. So, he obviously. And then Bia Diaz, however you say his last name, he got really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
But if you're in the NFL, there's
Uh-huh.
no way you're awful. That's just my personal opinion. Okay? There's no way. And then you got Trayvon Diggs. Obviously, that hurts us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now everybody's starting to hate on him. Oh, he wasn't that good anyway. Nah. You've seen the difference without him on the field versus with him on the field.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? They Hollywood was making Gilmore look like he was a kid. You see what I'm saying?
that's
That don't
tough.
happen to Trayvon like that.
Right.
But no, man, it's Dallas definitely upset me, man. It was crazy. When old boy came out, first play, I'm watching the game. I'm watching the first play. He take off a 50-yard quarterback sneak. I was like, all right, it's gonna be one of them days. That's just what it's gonna be. It's gonna be one of them days.
That can't get a quarter. You talking about on Cardinals or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
Cardinals.
They
third
talking about
string
somebody said
quarterback.
Charlie Villanueva stepbrother. That's really crazy.
I thought you was talking about Dak did the quarterbacks, nigga. I know he didn't try that shit before.
Dak run like he fat.
And
Dak run like his feet hurt. You know what I'm saying? He don't even be moving. Like, no disrespect, bro. Your
man.
genetics is not slow. Like, what are we
Just
doing?
like we said about how OU, like, Dylan Gabriel don't carry that weight. Like, this is OU quarterback. He don't carry that for me either.
No.
He's a Dallas
No.
quarterback.
That pick you talking about, bro, that quarterback hit that, or that wide receiver hit that slant. There was
Mhm.
2 safeties
Yep.
to the right and the left of the dude,
Mhm.
and the linebacker was backpedaling. And you thought, that's the place I want to throw this football.
He saw hit that on a dime. He said he got
been-
that.
He been in the league 700 years, and all right, bro, let's get off that. That got me. You're gonna get me spazzing on here because I can't curse on here. But if I could, boy, it'd be a lot of bleeps on this mob.
no, for sure. So Dak Prescott had 25 completions on 40
Hey man,
attempts.
don't read his
200
stats. You don't need to read them stats. He sucked. They don't even read them
Two-
stats, cuz.
249 yards, 6.2 on
All
average
right.
completion, one touchdown, one interception. Tony Pollard had 23 carries for a total of 122 yards rushing, an average of 5.3 yards a carry. Ooh, the Cardinals. Joshua Dobbs had 17 completions on 21 attempts for a total of 189 yards, an average of 9 yards a completion, and one touchdown. James Conner had 14 carries for a total of 98 yards, an average of 7 yards a carry with one touchdown. Rondale Moore also had a rushing touchdown on 3 carries for a total of 54 yards, an average of 18 yards a carry.
Bro, let's talk about that. That carry Rondell took, I ain't lying.
Mm-hmm.
I said Curse was shaving points yesterday. Had to be. Had to be shaving points. Curse ran by him. More ran by him. I swear it felt like Curse start jogging.
Mm-hmm.
A
For
couple
sure.
plays later, bro, he blitzed from the left side. The running back, say this is him. The running back
Mm-hmm.
ran right in front of his face. He turned around. Dude kept running
Mm-hmm.
right by him. Had to be cheating. Had to be cheating. Had to be cheating.
Because
As
it's
I was
Dallas, right?
convinced. Huh?
I said because it's Dallas.
Man, look. You know TV rating want Dallas to lose anyway. That's just the
That's
facts.
fact. That's fact.
So, but yeah,
That's a fact.
Dallas is
Their
trash.
script is going crazy. It's an NFL script. It's going dummy.
Man.
Facts.
So that will be that game. Next, we will cover. What do I want to talk about? Um, let's talk about Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos.
That nigga was tight in that press conference.
I would be too, nigga. That's a basketball AAU score.
What?
70 points to 20
When
points.
the
So
last
let's
time you
read
seen
off some.
70 in the NFL, bro?
Man, they said 19.
Last time I played one of y'all in Madden.
It
Oh,
was something
okay.
crazy. He ain't talking to me.
Ain't no way he said that.
No, he ain't
That's
talking
really
to me.
crazy. He ain't talking about me. There's no way. Got to
He
be talking
definitely
about
talking to me.
Alex.
What? Nigga, he ain't never
No.
beat me no 70 to 20 on God I quit by then. So
Yeah,
hold on, who's Miami's quarterback?
Two
Tua
of our.
Tagovailoa.
He's still alive after fucking what happened
Hey,
last year?
Hey
hey,
man,
He got
they was
that
trying to
boy
kill him, but
rose
he going
again.
crazy.
Rose again like the Undertaker. Right now
him and
he's leading
Tyreek
the.
locked it in.
Oh
That's
man,
fact. Tua's leading the votes right now as far as MVP in the MVP race.
Do MVPs really matter in the NFL like they do in the NBA?
It's really a
nah.
quarterback award, so no,
Okay, because I'm
nah.
like I don't really be hearing like it really matters.
it's a
But yeah,
quarterback award.
Sean Payton was tight, which like you say he should have been. But I'm like, nigga, your team ass. So if I was a reporter, he get tight with me. I would say yes. Y'all scored 20 points. That's gonna be the talk of the town. What you want us to do? Rewind time and help y'all not be ass? Get better,
Can't.
nigga. I quit. Shit, I quit. If my team lose to fucking, if my team lose by 50 points in NFL football game, nigga, I'm done, nigga. Hey, I
Man,
resign, nigga. You can have
It's
all the
his
money
first
back.
year, bro, and if he got fired, that would be crazy.
Sean Payton used to coach who?
The
the
Saints,
Saints with Drew Brees.
Okay. That's all I'm like.
and
I was
that's why
thinking of
it
another
was gonna
coach.
correlate because Russell Wilson
I
and Drew
see.
Brees kind of built the same pause, but they
Mhm.
just not
Oh
good
my
at football.
god, I
They just
forgot
not good
Russell
at
Wilson, the
football.
fucking quarterback for the Broncos.
Russell Wilson, bro.
And
Sean Payton's
nah,
supposed to
bro.
come in and change everything. They got the receivers. They really have the team. I just don't know what's going on.
Fact. This dude, the
Man.
offensive lineman, came out and said, "I've been here for 7 years, and all I've done is lose."
Sound like
Their
niggas used to
last
go
winning
40 years
season was with
fucking.
Tebow, right?
Yeah, when they made it to the playoffs.
Man, no,
Man,
when they won
Tony,
the
niggas be talking shit
Well,
about
they won it
Dallas,
with
but
Peyton Manning when they won the Super Bowl.
yeah, right.
So
Broncos
let's
are
read up.
fucking pathetic as
Man,
fuck.
No,
look,
for
Alex,
sure.
I was
Like
telling DJ
niggas be
earlier,
talking
I'm in
about
their group
Dallas
message
niggas,
with
and I be
Will,
like,
Kenneth, and Ryan. They all Broncos fans. Normally, every year they talking crazy to me. All of a sudden, I get a message. Oh, Dallas looks pretty good this year. Oh, really? Your team is sorry. That's crazy.
look, no
That's
disrespect to
fact.
Kenneth or Will, but it be them type of niggas that's never Broncos fans. Nigga. I'm just, hey, don't shoot the messenger, nigga. But them niggas is ass. Like
That's
niggas be
fact.
like they never Broncos fans. I'll be like, yeah, it makes sense. Like
They're
that
not
shit
good at
weird.
football. And
Them niggas.
Miami's great right now. Don't get me wrong.
They're
Miami's great.
great.
But that's bad. 70 to
Hold on,
With
20.
hold
no
on.
with no
When the
Jalen
Broncos
Waddle.
and Dallas play, that's what I'm saying.
They played last
They
year.
play. No,
No,
they
I'm
play
saying
this
when do they
year.
play
Oh,
this
do we
year?
play again?
Yes, y'all played them this year.
I
Let me look
can't
Oh,
it
yeah,
up
we
wait,
real
play them
nigga.
quick.
in December. If I'm
Tony,
not
if they
tripping.
lose, you gonna be had to block. You know to block niggas' numbers.
Oh, that's
But I'm
fact. You have
grabbing
to
a
block me.
charger for my laptop.
He
They
said he
play
wanted
them
to
on
block
Chris.
me. That's really crazy.
They're playing the. They will be playing the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Eve.
So that's gonna be look. That's gonna mess my dinner up.
Man, yeah, that's gonna be bad for you, bro. But if we get back to these stats really, really quick, Russell Wilson had 23 completions on 38 attempts for a total of 306 yards, an average of 8.1 yards a completion, one touchdown, one interception. Let's see this. Cortland Sutton had 8 receptions for a total of 91 yards, an average of 11.4 yards a reception, and one touchdown. I think the other touchdowns were what exactly? Field
Marvin
goals
Mims had a
and
kick
a kick.
return.
And Marvin Mims had a kick return for a touchdown. Now let's go to some Madden numbers for you guys watching the podcast today. Tua Tagovailoa only had 3 incompletions all day. And you would think he threw the ball 40 times. But he had 23 completions on 26 attempts for a total of 309 yards, an average of 11.9 yards of completion with 4 touchdowns, no picks. Also, the backup came in and threw a touchdown. Mike White, who was the former New York Jets backup, he had 2 completions for a total of 67 yards, an average of 33.5 yards of completion, and a
Mm.
touchdown. Now,
Hello,
let's
I'll
go to
be doing
some.
you on Mad with Lamar Jackson on the hood.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So let's go to some more Madden
Oh,
numbers.
this nigga think he
Uh,
funny.
Davon A Chain had 18 carries for a total of 203 yards, an average of 11.3 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert had 13 carries for a total of 82 yards, an average of 6.3 yards a carry, for 3 touchdowns. Now, some of the more wild numbers. Tyreek Hill had 9 receptions for 157 yards, an average of 17.4 yards, a completion, and a touchdown. Roby Anderson, or Roby Chosen, as I guess he changed his name, had 1 catch for 68 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert, on top of having 3 rushing touchdowns, had seven receptions for 60 yards, an average of 8.6 yards a reception, and 1 touchdown, giving him a total of 4 touchdowns. Devon Achane had 4 receptions for 30 yards, an average of 7.5 yards a reception, and 2 touchdowns, also giving him 4 touchdowns. So between the two running backs, they had 8 touchdowns.
Do you guys feel like it's appropriate to just run the score up like that?
Oh, for
Yep.
sure.
Like at
For
some
sure.
point, should we just be respectable to the game and say, let's just stop running this motherfucker up?
No,
Nah.
Okay.
no, no. And to be honest, they had an opportunity. The highest point scored in the NFL game in history was 62 points, and they were in field goal range. And he chose not to kick that field goal. I would have kicked it. I
Trust
got
me, I know you
arguably,
would. I played you
I
on FIFA.
got,
I mean, man, I know you would.
yeah,
This
FIFA.
nigga
I
be up
lose
by
every time.
20, nigga going for extra point and shit for no fucking reason.
I gotta go
Real
for
shit.
two. But
Yeah,
to,
he be
but to,
cheating.
but I mean, you have arguably the best offense, the most high powered offense as far as yards in NFL history, and you were missing Jalen Waddle this game. You know, everybody was like, "Oh, Jalen Waddle's going to be out. How are they going to push through? How are they going to be able to, I mean, it's Denver, so it won't be too crazy, but how are they going to deal without having one of their fastest receivers in the NFL on the field?" Uh, as a coach and as a player, I would ask y'all, how would you take this game being a part of the Denver Broncos? I'll start with you, Alex.
Nigga, I told you I'm resigning because you can have that contract, have that bread. I don't need nothing back. Then you got players over here talking to reporters talking about I've been here for 7 years, all I've done is lost. Like, damn, nigga, we all just depressed and ass. Like, ain't nobody got uplifting spirits. What do you
No,
go and tell them niggas? That's the thing. What does Sean Payton go in that fucking locker room and say? You guys try hard, did a good job.
No.
Maybe next time. Nah, I'm gonna say all you niggas go to home, pack your shit, go home, and we'll try something else. Let's sell the team. That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the owner and say, nigga, we need to sell this motherfucker. That's embarrassing. That's
They just got
embarrassing.
bought
Your head
out
coach
too.
and on
yeah,
the fucking over here getting pressed by reporters about how do you feel after getting your ass whooped from 70-20. I just said, nigga, how you think I feel? And left. So
man.
I feel bad for the nigga boss. So I'm like, nigga, that's on you because that's bad. I mean, at some point you gotta just call the game, say fuck this. I'm not doing it. If I'm a coach, I'm going back in the locker room, nigga.
No, for sure. And then the Denver Broncos also traded Seattle a first round and a second round pick for a coach. I had never heard of that
Oh,
personally
James right
prior
here. Yep.
to.
Yep.
So they traded picks for a coach, not a player, a coach.
That
And
happened
this is
in
the
NBA
outcome so
though. I
far.
will say that happened with Doc Rivers, huh? He get traded for
Yep.
he got traded for players. I remember that.
Yep. See how that worked
That
out.
shit is weird in any league. That is weird.
Yeah,
You
it's
know how
not
ass
the
you got
most
to be to
common.
get traded for a fucking player?
Man. Tony, what is your as being a coach and a former player? How
Mm.
do you approach the situation? Give me your assessment as a coach after taking a loss like that on a professional level.
Man, I think from a professional standpoint, you got to go in there, obviously address this is just unacceptable. Period. You know what I mean? Now we're not going to dwell on it too long because we obviously got a game in a week, but you got to address it like, look, if you got, some of y'all doesn't want to get on track and figure out this is how not Broncos football is going to be, then y'all need to, don't come to practice on Monday.
That
Straight
nigga
up
said
like that.
Broncos
Like,
football.
you know what I'm saying? There ain't no reason for y'all to be here if we going to be out here getting beat like that.
For sure.
But
Tony, what's Broncos football? What's that? What's that mean to you? What's the standard? What's Broncos football?
right now,
Yeah, well, no. Nigga in general, nigga. If a nigga come to you, you got the Dallas way, you got the, America's team, you got Dallas Cowboys, nigga. I'm talking about for Denver Broncos. What's Broncos football?
right now, XFL. That's how I feel about it. I don't know.
That's
Let me
crazy.
tell you something. They really bad right now, bro. Like
That's
it's
crazy.
almost like the Browns was for a minute. That's how it's seeming.
For
But
sure.
they have all the pieces though. I just don't understand what's going on in Denver. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can hate on, but 70-20 in the NFL is flat out. You got a veteran coach, veteran quarterback, good defense. Like there's no reason you lose like that.
No, for sure. For sure. Um, it's weird, man. Especially being I coached AAU. I'm never gonna say nothing like I was a real coach like Tony. I coached youth, right? And we played AAU. We got our asses kicked a few times. Used to coach my little brother, and there's just a certain mentality. Like you either gotta wanna, if you went out there and really tried hard, you know what I'm saying. But it's like a lot of them. I feel like they already got that losing mentality. Like that dude said, I've been here for 7 years and have done nothing but lost.
Yeah.
And so y'all don't go into it with that same ferocity and ferociousness that maybe a San Francisco goes into a game, or the way Dallas was playing leading into that Cardinals game where defense is dominant. Like y'all haven't had any sense of dominance since Peyton Manning left and y'all won those Super Bowls with Von
Right.
Miller. Like
When the fuck you start using words like that?
what?
That's a good word.
Nigga said, what you say? Nigga?
Ferociousness.
Ferocity.
Oh,
And
ferocity. Yeah.
ferociousness?
Yeah, one of those.
Okay.
Hey man, I went to college for like 2 semesters. Come on now.
This nigga. But you
But
went to
In
Moore High
Kansas, that's
School.
crazy.
I did. I
I've
did.
been
I
trying
did
to get a
not.
petition for them to knock down Moore High School since I graduated, and they won't knock that motherfucker down.
It's a staple in the community, man.
What?
Sadly.
Man, that motherfucker is like a prison.
On
No,
that
it's a
side of
fact.
the highway, yeah.
I
It's
drive
a
by
fact.
that bitch and I'm like, this bitch still ain't gone. Fuck.
Man,
They adding
lights are
to it
still
now.
dim in there.
It's
Like
Toby Keith's ass fault. But you know what? Toby Keith fuck around rebuild the whole school.
Mm-hmm.
maybe
I
them
respect it.
country singers get bread. Um, I don't have really any other game I'd like to cover at the moment. Tony, you got anything
This
extra?
nigga DJ, come on, bro. Don't do that right now.